Every night, I told myself the same lie: I'll just check my phone one more time before bed. And every night, that one scroll turned into 20 minutes, sometimes an hour. Notifications lighting up my screen, messages, likes, random pings, each one pulling me deeper into the trap. At first, I thought it was harmless. Just a quick glance at Instagram, a reply to a friend, or checking the latest headline. But over time, I started noticing something strange. I wasn't falling asleep the way I used to. My body was tired, my eyes were heavy, but my brain felt wired. Restless. Almost buzzing, like I had just downed a strong cup of coffee right before lying down. And the worst part? Even after I finally managed to fall asleep, I didn't stay asleep. A single buzz on my nightstand could jolt me awake at 2 a.m., leaving me staring at the ceiling for the next hour, frustrated and exhausted. It wasn't just about being tired anymore. It was affecting my mornings, my mood, and even my productivity. That's when I realized, those tiny notifications weren't just stealing my attention during the day. They were invading my nights too. I started digging into the science of it, and what I found was shocking. Instant notifications trigger the same part of the brain that responds to rewards. Every buzz, ding, or vibration releases a little burst of dopamine, tricking your brain into thinking something exciting is happening. And when that happens right before bed, or worse, in the middle of the night, your brain doesn't shut down. It stays alert, waiting for the next hit. And so, what I thought was harmless late-night scrolling was actually rewiring my sleep patterns in the worst way possible. Once I understood what was happening in my brain, it all started to make sense. No wonder I couldn't fall asleep easily. My body was begging for rest, but my brain was stuck in alert mode, waiting for the next vibration or ping. It wasn't just the notifications, either. The blue light from my screen was another silent enemy. That glow, especially late at night, tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. It suppresses melatonin, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy. So even after I put my phone down, it took forever to actually drift off. I started tracking my sleep with an app, and the results were brutal. Nights where I had been glued to my phone before bed were broken up with constant micro-awakenings. I'd wake up groggy, with a heavy head and dark circles under my eyes. But on the rare nights I left my phone in another room, my sleep was deeper, more consistent, and I woke up with actual energy. The contrast was undeniable, and yet, I kept slipping back into the habit. That's the dangerous part about notifications. They're designed to keep you hooked. Every time you resist, another one shows up, demanding your attention. It feels urgent, important, even though 90% of the time it's something completely meaningless. But here's the real kicker: over time, this constant cycle of being on call conditions your brain to never fully relax. You carry the tension into your evenings, your nights, and eventually your mornings. And if you've ever wondered why you wake up tired even after 7 or 8 hours in bed, this could be the reason. The breaking point came when I noticed how much it was bleeding into my real life. I'd be in conversations but not fully present, always half waiting for the next buzz. I'd feel drained during work, unable to focus, because my brain was still recovering from the night before. Worst of all, I started dreading bedtime. Instead of my bed being a place of rest, it became a battlefield. I'd lie there, staring at the ceiling, frustrated because my brain refused to slow down. Some nights I'd pick my phone back up out of sheer boredom, even though I knew it would make things worse. And that became the cycle: tired but restless, overstimulated but exhausted, trapped in my own habits. One night, after tossing and turning until 3 a.m., I realized something had to change. I was sick of waking up every morning with a foggy head, sick of needing caffeine just to feel alive, sick of watching my mental health slowly crumble because of something as small as a notification sound. That's when I decided to experiment. For the first time, I turned off all my app notifications before bed: no pings, no vibrations, no banners lighting up the screen. At first, it felt strange, almost like I was cutting myself off from the world. But that night, for the first time in months, I fell asleep within minutes instead of hours. It was a wake-up call, literally. The next morning I didn't feel brand new, but I felt better. More rested. More human. And it made me realize just how much damage those constant alerts had been doing to me all along. After that first night, I started paying close attention to how my brain reacted to notifications. And the truth is, every little ping was like a mini dose of stress. Even during the day, it kept me on edge, constantly pulling my focus away from whatever I was doing. At night, the effect was 10 times worse. So I built a new routine, step by step. First, I set Do Not Disturb mode to turn on automatically at 9 p.m. That way, even if I forgot, my phone stayed silent. Second, I moved my charging station to the other side of the room, far from my bed. It forced me to treat my phone like a tool, not a bedtime companion. I also replaced my endless scrolling habit with something calmer. Instead of swiping through notifications, I started reading a few pages of a book or journaling my thoughts before sleep. At first, it felt boring. My brain craved the quick dopamine hit from notifications. But after a week, I started noticing changes. My sleep became deeper. I woke up fewer times during the night. And most importantly, I stopped dreading bedtime. My brain began to trust that nighttime was a period of calm, not chaos. The difference was huge. I went from waking up groggy, anxious, and dependent on coffee, to actually feeling like I had real energy again. And that energy carried into my work, my focus, and even my mood. I wasn't snapping at people as much. I wasn't zoning out mid-conversation. I felt like I had my brain back. That's when it hit me. Notifications weren't just messing with my sleep, they were messing with my entire life. The real turning point came when I asked myself one simple question: do I want to live my life on my schedule, or on my phone's schedule? That thought shook me. Because every time I let notifications dictate my attention, I was basically saying, my priorities don't matter. My phone decides for me. No wonder I felt so drained, so scattered, so out of control. So, I made a final change. I turned off almost all non-essential notifications. No random pings from apps, no likes or follows flashing across my lock screen. The only alerts I kept were texts and calls from close family. Everything else, I checked on my time. And the result? My sleep transformed. I stopped waking up to meaningless buzzes. I no longer felt the jolt of adrenaline at midnight because someone tagged me in a meme. My evenings became calmer, my mornings became sharper, and my days became more intentional. But here's the deeper truth: it wasn't just about sleep. It was about reclaiming ownership of my mind. For years, I thought constant connectivity was harmless. But living like that turned my brain into a reactive machine, always waiting for the next ping. Breaking free from that cycle gave me peace, clarity, and balance I didn't even know I was missing. Now, when I put my phone down at night, it's not a source of stress, it's a signal to rest, to recharge, to reset. My brain finally trusts that bedtime means sleep, not chaos. So if you've been wondering why your sleep feels broken, why you wake up groggy, or why you can't shut your mind off at night, look at your notifications. They may seem small, but they hold a surprising amount of power over your brain. And the moment you take that power back, your nights, and your days, will change in ways you never thought possible.